Man, has it been a long time since we've made one of these? And today, for today's video, I've got a very energetic companion with me. And before you ask, no, he's not mine. He's actually my sister's, and I'm going to be looking after him for a week or so. And I'm going to keep doing this all video because he eats everything he finds. He's only a pup. He's barely a few months old. Actually, I think in dog years he's a teen by now, but I'm not quite sure because he's about 7 months old, and he eats everything he finds. Like even if it's not edible, he's gonna put it in his mouth and choke on it, only to find out that you cannot swallow it, and even if you do, you can't digest it. So, anyways, I really miss making these, because it's actually pretty fun. This is a kind of like a form of journaling. I don't know. People help like people say like journaling helps a lot, and just writing down your thoughts and seeing like just reflecting. So making these videos, pouring out my thoughts and what I think or and how I feel about certain topics really like helps me get it off my chest and like really put it out there, and also maybe see what others think, even though like my videos aren't blowing up yet, but it just helps to put it out there. And a lot of times when you like keep trying new stuff, right, you fuck up a lot, and that really gets to you because now the more you fail, the more you get used to failing, and the more it like the lesser it hits you, right? But for someone who's just getting out there, someone who's never like tried something and actually failed in that before, it can be super overwhelming, right? It can be like really scary. When I first met my wholesaler, the supplier for the energy drinks for my distribution business, I wasn't one bit scared about what might happen. Because okay, it's very, very possible it could like blow up and become a really fantastic business, or it's also possible that I could buy a lot of stock, it won't sell, and I'll lose a fuck ton of money. But I wasn't really worried about that because I have failed a lot in life, and I'm not just talking about like exams and all that, right? I've never really failed an exam, but I'm talking about like trying something new and just sucking at it. Sucking at it to the point where you just want to give up, like fuck this, like it's just not gonna work, so why bother trying? So I was quite used to it at that point, and I never like think about, oh, what's going to happen, because see, what's going to happen is rarely ever under your control, right? So you might as well do it because worrying won't change. So you might as well do it and then see what happens. If something good comes out of it, fantastic. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing, right? So I always believe in this whole thing of like trial and error, right? Only when you trial and error, like you keep trying new things and you keep making a mistake, that's when you actually find out what will actually work. And if you don't try multiple things, how are you going to find what actually works? Now, people think like, oh, like, okay, so let's say you do a degree, right? You get a degree, a college degree, and you pick one particular topic, like, okay, say media, mass communication, like, media and communication, journalism. Now, people automatically assume that for the rest of your life, you're going to like be a journalist or do something in media or communication, newspaper, ads, or something like that, right? But that doesn't have to be the case, because when you actually get a degree in India, at least, I don't know what the culture is abroad, right? But in India, you do a degree as soon as you get out of school, right? After 12th grade, you get a degree, and you're only 18 years at the time. And I read an article saying that people really completely mature only when they're 23 years old, like the brain completely develops. So before that, you're just figuring things out. So how are you supposed to know what you want to do for the next 40, 50 years of your life only when you're 18 years old? So before I got my degree, right, I got a business management degree. Before I got that degree, I was super fucking overwhelmed, and I met this neighbor of mine who was actually 30 years old at the time, and he was pretty sorted, right? He had like a business and all that, and he's doing pretty well for himself. And he's a very chill guy. He worked in Dubai for a couple of years, moved back to India, then went to UK for his masters, and so on. So he had a bit of experience here and there in multiple things, right? And he told me that he's like, dude, why are you stressing about your degree? He was an electrical engineer, and he had started a digital marketing business, which is actually booming and doing really well. And then he left that and went to Dubai and did something else. And then he left that and went and got a master's degree. And now he's got a business in carbon something to do with carbon. And he's got like a contract with the government, and he's doing really, really fucking well. So when I told him about, like, dude, I'm really fucking scared, like, because if I do a degree and I waste 3 years of my life, you're like, dude, what 3 years? Like when you finish a degree, you're gonna be 21, just 21. And you don't have to have it all figured out, because people rarely ever do for the rest of their lives what they're gonna do in their degree. I mean, yeah, sure, people do, like for the main STEM field, and even like people like lawyers and all that, right? Yeah, they stick to that. But you'll see it's like people are having this realization, right? That, oh, okay, maybe I don't have to do this for the rest of my life. they always have a career switch, right? I read these stories about how like people do like work in corporate for like 50 years and then quit that and just get into farming because that's what they like. They start gardening or farming, or they'll pick up an instrument or do a different master's degree and learn something new. So it's all about pivoting, right? And it's only when you make mistakes, it's only when you make a decision, an active decision to do something, you will either succeed or fail in that. So when you fail in that, you know, okay, that's not the thing for me. So maybe you keep exploring, you keep looking, right? So unless you actually make a mistake, unless you actually do something new, you're not going to fail. And unless you fail, you're never actually going to find out what's out there for you. You know, people don't realize this enough. When you trial, you will error. Like you cannot try new things without failing at it, right? And if you didn't fail at it, like it would take the fun out of trying new things. So you might as well like go out there and try whatever you want to, because who has the time to worry about a failure, right? If you fail, fuck it, you just move on to the next thing. You know, when I started my business, right, not once did I think, oh fuck, like what if I lose a fuck ton of money in this, or what if it doesn't work out? What'll I do then? It's like a whole year wasted. No, none of that. Because if I spend a year working on the business, right, I would learn so much from the business, even if it doesn't work out, that I can take the knowledge and apply it somewhere else. And even if I don't, I've had one hell of a year working on the business, which is pretty fun, anyways. So why worry about what's going to happen when you cannot control about what's going to happen, right? So when you trial, you will error, and that's the whole fun of it, right? Trial and error. And I feel like life is like this whole long trial and error thing until you find the right one, right? And I'm not talking the perfect one that you were born to do. I'm talking one that makes you happy, that brings you the satisfaction, and that is actually fun.